Good evening, San Carlos. So I just thought I would do a little video of us prepping for the oncoming cyclone. I'm closed Monday, Tuesday when it's supposed to hit us really hard. Last time they had such a huge one, they had no power here for 2 weeks. So I just went and dropped like 100 pesos on ice, which is a lot of ice, guys, just to put it in perspective. And for the first time ever, I got to park the little yellow van in our seating area of the restaurant. So, and as you see, it's just so small. I literally could park it still and keep 2 tables going. So I got my bike, I got my truck. I'm glad it fired right back up. Yes, I am seriously thinking about getting a bobbing D20 for the top of it, just for fun. So yeah, so this is the first time I've ever opened this gate too, to get the truck in. I see my neighbors do it all the time. I never do. So yeah, lots of firsts tonight, getting ready for the cyclone. Now, I've got about 3/4 of a tank of gas. As long as we don't lose power overnight, my goal is going to be, I thank so much for the 2 guys who sent me a cup of coffee. Really appreciate that, because I'm going to put that into fuel and emergency supplies, just in case we do get a multiple day power outage. Sorry, I use a little rock here to keep the gate open. Once I get a saw, I'll cut a little wedge out of wood. They don't seem to understand the power of little pieces of wood here. But so yeah, that's what this is what the gates look like when they're closed and when the store is closed. And so yeah, we are now closed for another week. I got some stray cat friends because I just dumped a bunch of fish heads that are cooked over in the ditch over there, so they're all coming out to play. And this big ass bone was from the giant chicken out in the property. Just to give you perspective on that, you thought, you know, that's in my hand. Look how big that is. That's a chicken leg bone. That was a big ass bird. I don't know if any of you follow the other channel, but yeah, he was huge. Like 17 kilos. Chicken. That's turkey sized. And my old mother-in-law did it all by herself too. She held him down, did what had to be done, and tasty bird. So yeah, as you see, I mean, this time of night, it's a complete ghost town in the neighborhood. Now, it's also still Day of the Dead, so a lot of people are doing their family thing. My Canadian flag up there in the wind. But, can't even see the GNR poster anymore. Or flag. So, yeah, now, I'm definitely not giving up, folks. I'll keep blogging no matter what or where I go. This channel isn't going to disappear. That's why, I say to folks, tell me what you'd like to see on here. I really appreciate the feedback. I have a few friends, folks on the channel who have said, we want to see more of the van. Okay, I'll try and do more of the van. There's not much left to do on the van. Like, I fixed everything up. Now, I did order actual seat belts from Shopee. They're like 80 pesos each, to make it so that the back seat is actually, North American child safe. I'm not going to go as far as a car seat and all that stuff, because realistically, I don't know if you've seen the video where we had something on her channel. I'll have to check and see if it's on this channel. But I actually put her in the baby harness that I wear, and I drove around with her for 2 days. So she's like pretty much able to drive around as the driver, and she loved it. So, because we don't have the laws over here about, that. Like, you'll see them put 5 or 6, like, toddlers on a motorbike with them as they're bombing around, driving around. No helmets, no nothing. It's just a different, see, no helmets. It's just a different set of rules here, and it makes a tougher kid, right? I got lucky with my kids in North America. They grew so fast. I'm a really big guy. My original spouse was huge. Not fat. I mean, she's an Amazonian, so big bone, tall. It was one of these things where we just had really big kids. They came out small, so they didn't ruin my fun factory, and then grew like chia pets. So all my kids, pretty much by 4, were big enough that they passed that weight requirement of the car seats in Canada, at least. I haven't seen a single car seat here, period. Like in stores, in any vehicle, they just don't cater to that. So my thing is, and that's fine. See 2 guys there, no shirts, no helmets, no nothing, bombing around. They have a different safety code over here, right? It's really what you can get away with more than what's actually safe, right? Now, I am still running things by North American safety standards. Like in my kitchen, I use bleach, I use hot water, I use soap. These kinds of things. I understand the science behind the reasons why we have those rules. It's like when I've done plumbing jobs for folks over here, I put in a P-trap because I understand that P-trap keeps cockroaches from coming into your house through your pipes because it creates a water barrier they don't swim through. It also creates a smell block, so you're not smelling the crap from the sewers and the foods and all the other pipes coming into your house through multiple orifices. So just things like that that I recognize the value in. I'm not going to go crazy and find a car seat for Adora. She's already big enough that probably now there's seat belts, I'll just seat belt her in. I would like to maybe make a booster seat for her, but I can make one. I mean, the original old channel was wonderful for some of the things I built for the kids when I was back a much younger man with a whole shop of tools. I made that amazing car seat that was ridiculously good. I wish I'd brought that with me or not sold it, but... And as you can see, the scenery... Damn. So anyways, everyone's getting ready for the storm. I mean, I'm ready for the storm. It should be a doozy, and I will do updates on it. I've got my power bank charged. I've got other things ready. The problem is we may lose signal. She said they lost signal during the one in 2011 for 2.5 weeks. So if I do disappear, folks, it's not because I gave up. It's because it sucks. Now, at the same token, I did price a ticket home for our November 18th, and it's ridiculously low, which is way earlier than I wanted to go home if I was going home for Christmas. But I figure that's about as long as I can possibly survive over here without electricity and aircon, and make it practical that the airport should be back up and running by the 18th. Because 2 weeks is lots of time to try and get shit together, right? Other side of that is the tickets normally have an ability to be canceled. So, you know, but if, because I am going to post today in Canada, but tonight here, after this video, onto my Canadian business pages, just to ask if anybody wants me home for Christmas for orders. If there's enough orders, because I'm broke, then by all means, I want to... Oh, see, little doggy found my meat dumping spot. Oh, he doesn't want it. The ants have gotten all over it, I guess. Oh, buddy, that's good pork and chicken. Don't let the ants have it. That's for you. Yeah, buddy. They're also scared. They don't like humans because humans here are kind of mean to them. It sucks because, you know, I would pet that dog. He looks like a nice dog. I'd love it if he was eating the meat and coming on over regularly. But anyways, my sadness of not having a pet here. So, no, it's one of those things where I will do more van videos. If I end up selling the van because I need to pay rent and to pay utilities, then I will be buying another one. I mean, I'm going to sell it for 75 or 80,000 pesos. It's an automatic. Everything now works on it. It needs a spare tire and one lug nut bolt. Not bolt, but the... Oh my goodness, I'm having a brain fart here. The threaded part. Oh my goodness, I guess I'm too tired. So anyways, that comes out because it's only got 3 of the 4 points, right, intact. But I didn't want to rip apart that whole rear brake because I'm really working with just single ratchet set here, and it definitely needs a spring clamp to remove the main bearing bolt. So, and I think the front driver's wheel bearing also could probably use a bit of maintenance, but these people don't care about that kind of stuff. And since you're not driving more than 40-50 clicks an hour anyways anywhere, all their vehicles are pretty much glorified golf carts. I mean, this truck maxes out at 120 kilometers an hour. I have only brought it up as high as 80. And, you know, it needed some real whipping to get there. Not that there's an issue with the transmission. It was just there isn't enough straight level road on the trips that I've taken it on so far. I mean, I have only put 117 kilometers on the van. All my little adventures between here and the mountain and places like that, bringing it up from Cebu. I mean, to Cebu is only 47 kilometers. Hey, kitty, you're going to get locked in there. Get out of there. Cat. Oh. I have to scare that cat out. So anyways, once I close the gate, a cat can't really come and go as easily as they probably want to. I won't be listening to it meowing or drowning when the thing floods. But anyways, no, it's just one of these things where the cities are all really close, on at least the island I'm on. But they're turny, twisty, they're like chicken inners roads, right? Like it's, yeah, lots of blind turns things. So you're just not going crazy fast because you can't, you know? And then here in town, I mean, I have a speedometer on the truck. And like I said, I've never really gone over 50K in town here. There's just, even at night when the roads are dead, it's just not, oh, see, little dude on a bike with his mom and sister. Mom was hot. But anyways, so it's just one of these things where you don't go fast. So for me to bring over like one of my classic hot rods or something like that, even if I was going to go and get the, oh, good cat, he left, good permit, to bring it over, like say I did get married or something, because as a tourist they won't let you bring vehicles over. They assume you're here for a short stay, you don't need to bring your own ride. That being said, I do have a really nice car collection. I mean, I know some of you guys, if you're watching the van videos, you definitely have watched the old Jag videos, the old Suburban videos, the old RV videos, because this summer I got bored. I had nothing to do except for waiting every 2 weeks to sling fish. So I did do a lot of fixing of things. I'm very versatile in tile work and plumbing and all that at my own house, because my kids had destroyed the house in the 18 months I was gone. And I wanted to make sure I left them again with an intact house. And that's the other thing, is I don't even have access to contact people back home anymore. 2 of them have changed their emails. 2 of them have moved away. So it's like, I shake my head. And then they denied my youngest a phone. But they promised me before I left that they would let him get a phone, because every other kid got a phone when they went to high school. He's not getting one, right? Which really bothers me. And I was going to give him my old junker Ontario phone, the one that still I use just for WhatsApp. But I couldn't clear all the data off of it, and I didn't want to just format it, because I want a lot of that data. Like, it's pictures, it's videos, it's stuff I want. So before I leave here this time, I'm going to go to one of these phone repair guys and literally have them do that for me and put everything on a USB stick. So when I do go back to Canada at Easter or for Christmas, I will just give him that blank phone, right? Now, the other thing too is, because I'm kind of disappointed that nobody's contacting me from home, and every time I want to call back to Canada, it's roam at home with Rogers for $27 a day. That's dollars, like our money, right? 27 a day, just outrageous. And but I had to, and I had the van situation, because like that night that I bought it, I was waiting for other people to send me money who said, oh yeah, I'll help you out, no problem, go there, see it, make sure it's real and not a scam, and I'll send you the money. Because I bought the van for very little, guys. Now, I did put a lot of work into it, about 5 days of work. And I still would love to do the body work. Like, if I really wanted to sell that van for maximum value, I could probably get 110,000 peso for it, just by doing some body work, maybe a day or two, fixing that bolt. I've already looked into if the bearing is something I can change myself, and unfortunately it's not with the tools I have. And yeah, I probably would be gouged a good 10, 15, 20,000 peso to have a local shop do it as a white man. Because I got into a debate just the other day. And when I say white man, guys, I don't just mean like actual Caucasians. When I say that, I mean Westerner, not a local. Just to be clear, because I have a lot of black friends over here. There are a lot of other guys that come over here. I have guys from other Asian countries that come here. In Jensen, I had like 6 Japanese friends. But it's just one of these things where we get skin taxed. This guy from Davao was trying to say on the page, oh no, there's nothing in Davao like that. We don't do that. Horse shite. They all do it. That's why they don't put price tags on things. In Thailand, if you have to ask how much is it, it just doubled in price. The same policy does exist here. It's just an Asian thing. They want to see how much can I get for that doggy in the window. And if they put a price tag, they know as a Westerner, you're either going to try and negotiate them down, or you'll buy it for the price that a Filipino will buy it for. And they don't want that. They want to get you for more. And we affectionately call it the skin tax, right? That's why you'll see a lot of other bloggers who will tell you, buy the housekeeper and make her go shopping for you, right? Because for that 400 a week that you're paying her, or 400 a day, or whatever you're paying her, you're going to save triple, quadruple that if she's out doing your grocery shopping for you, or your supply shopping for you. Or if you've got a good enough relationship with her and her English is good enough that you can treat her almost like a girlfriend, not so much in the physical intimacy aspect, but in the, she'll come out with you to places you want to go and act as your interpreter / emissary to get you a fair deal. Because it does turn out to be the exact opposite if you go shopping alone. That's just a fact over here, right? So for me, with that van, my goal to fix the bearing was going to be to use the van to teach her how to drive. And then once I'm comfortable that she can drive, I would send her to a shop to get it fixed. Because if they see the lone single mom Filipina come in, yeah, they're going to sexually harass her. That's just part of the culture. They're probably going to scam her a bit because they're going to know she doesn't know about cars. But when she says her old daddy, but they don't know that, they think of father, says what is wrong with it, but he's not in this area to fix it, then that's when they might give her a fair price and do the job quickly and fast to keep her business coming back, right? There is some merchants here who understand the power of repeat sale. So that was my plan if I keep the van, to fix the one thing I can't fix on it. But it's not even critical. Like right now it's driving, it's turning, it's fine. It doesn't grind when it turns. It's just when you go over really heavy bumps, you can hear it rattle a wee bit. You hear a thunk a little bit when you start going around that 80 kilometers an hour. So yeah, you know, but like I said, people use their vehicles here pretty much like glorified golf carts. You're going 40K on average or under everywhere you're going. So something like a bad bearing, sure, it sucks. And it could give out on you at any moment. So that's the real issue with it. But you can get away with it a lot longer than you would in Canada, where I'm driving 110, 120 kilometers on freeways all the time. I'm putting 5, 6, 7, 800 kilometers a week on a vehicle. More when I have a fish run. Like on a fish run week, when I rent a car for those 2 days, guys, the car company is lucky if I don't put 2,000 kilometers on that vehicle in 2 days. Because, you know, from my house to Montreal, there's 300 one way, 300 on the way back. Then I do the milk run through all the little country roads to all the areas in my territory doing the deliveries. Plus, I'll take advantage of having a car to go get supplies for other projects I was going to do, but couldn't when I was trapped at the farm. So, now, of course, when I go back this time, I'm hoping I will only have to rent cars for actual fish runs. For those of you who are from Canada, you know that Quebec is a very unique province. And they have a good way of keeping English Canada out of their area, which is they will create small, silly infractions and nail the person with them. In my case, it was driving around when I was 15, so we're talking a long time ago, and picked up a few fines. And people say, "Well, just pay them." Well, for me, it's a principle thing. For those of you who know who I really am and things like that, especially from the old channel, I'm quite political back home. I'm well known, and I am a federalist. I am a pro Canada, back when Canada existed, politician, and I definitely don't support separatist parties. And Quebec, our French province, has had a separatist party ruling it pretty much indefinitely in my adult life. Almost all of their seats in the federal legislation are all separatist party people. Now, I understand, I do. And were I in Quebec as an adult now, stepping back from the equation, taking my personal feelings out, I would probably be voting the same way the people there are, because that separatist party, the Bloc Québécois as it's called, is really the only party that actually gives a shit about its constituents. Like, those people win because their philosophy is I don't care what the rest of you guys think, it's what's good for my group, my people in my community. And, you know, the other three federal parties have zero interest in what the individual ridings care about, right? They actually often will make laws and policies that deliberately screw over their own party members' peoples, because it's better for the globalist agenda. But this channel is not about that. And I know some people say, "Well, when are you going to start your political channel again?" Well, if I get 2 weeks of no power, no signal, I guess that's a great time to start another channel. I guess a lot of these guys did make channels who are successful over here during COVID, because they were locked down, they were bored, they had nothing better to do, and also a lot of people's channels got really well built during COVID. I spent COVID working. I have the kind of businesses where, two other little ladies on a bike, I had the kind of businesses in Canada, grocery, I wasn't forced to close. I did have to close my bars and restaurants, obviously, but I hung on. They wanted those bars and restaurants closed in March, and I hung on till like May for some of them. Putting in takeout windows, doing all the things I could to try and stay open. But, I mean, in the end, there just wasn't the clients. My groceries, my fish markets were able to legally stay open, but it also came down to I couldn't be everywhere at once. I'm only one guy. And I did have my one son helping me back then, but there's only two of us. There were 4 stores. Do you know what I mean? One of them was like 4,000 kilometers away, so it just didn't make sense. But me and my daughter actually drove out there in one of my crappy cars and then drove back a moving truck full of that store. Didn't drive it all the way back, just about 1,000 of that 4,000 clicks. We stashed in a cheap storage facility for, I paid storage there for at least 2 years before I went back again on my own and emptied it out with a local crackhead as my secondary helper. I just hired him right off the street. He was a big enough lad, homeless guy. I was like, yo, you want to make $100 today? 3 hours of labor. I had a 13-year-old girl do it. They were like, well, I think he thought I was going to kidnap him, sell his organs, but he jumped in the truck anyways because they don't care. Those people are just desperate for quid. It is what it is. So, but yeah. So I just during COVID, I wasn't building channels or anything, and I had lost my original channel during COVID, and I've since won that debate, and they've said that I'm happy to rebuild my channel, but they've deleted all of my files. Although, as I've said to people, if I come up with 2 or 3K, now the guy could be a scammer, so I don't really want to do it. If I have the hundreds of thousands from the show, then by all means, I'll take the gamble of 3,000K. But he says he's got about 2,000 hours of the old channel's videos that he took off the dark web. So, because everything's on the dark web, folks. No matter what they delete on this web, you can, if you've got the right people, you can find things on the dark web. You just got to be really, really careful. But yeah, and then speaking of course, some sort of costume. Black devil wings for the Week of the Dead. Nice, I love it. So anyways, this is one of these things where we are having a cyclone. I'm going to wrap this up. They said try and keep the videos around 20 minutes. They don't like the short ones. They don't like the long ones. So we're 22 minutes. That should be good. So like, follow, subscribe. I will be doing videos daily throughout the cyclone. Whether I get to post them or not, we'll see. And to the guys who sent me cups of coffee, that goes to gcash, which directly funds my data. Because one of the things about having a channel that maybe other vloggers don't tell you about is you kind of do pay to upload every video. It is something that if you're not monetized, like I'm not monetized, and that's not my goal of this channel. If I do a political channel, it definitely will be there, and I will want my old sponsors back, and I'll be looking for that, and I'm sure that channel will grow much faster based on who I am. But I like this channel too for what it's become, where it's a little more casual, a little more versatile in the topics, and I'm not trying to push any particular agenda. I'm just showing what it's like living over here. And so yeah, it is what it is. And of course, yeah, if there's a topic you'd like to see me cover, or something I started to cover but didn't go into enough depth, by all means, throw me a mention in the comments that, hey, I'd like to see this, I'd like to hear that. Like one of the gentlemen was saying, hey, I want to see more of your out and about. I'll try. My problem is that I've dedicated 5 days a week to the bar restaurant. And I have friends complaining, why am I not dedicating 7? And I've tried to explain that in other videos, so check those videos out. But I need a few days off to deal with things like immigration, to deal with the government when I have to go get the permits I needed for the restaurant. Now they're almost all done. I just have one more permit left. I'm legal, at least now, but that one more permit will allow me to advertise online, which I still can't do right now, except for the basic blog on Facebook. But I can't run ads on Facebook because you need a specific tax number that they want you to put in. Now, I put in my old one from Jensen, and it appears to have worked, but I've lacked the budget to actually advertise, so it's a moot point. But it's one of those things where Gcash directly funds my ability to create more videos and to post more times a day. So that's why when I say, hey, throw me a cup of coffee, and I put the Gcash in the thing, it's their version of electronic money, and so it's not It's not accessible to a lot of the North Americans. However, if you do throw me something by PayPal, as one guy did today, much appreciate, thanks Steve, then it goes directly onto Gcash, because I don't have a local bank account. And in Canada, I've only got the two accounts, the old personal account and an old donation account from a political adventure. So I kept that open simply so I'd have a secondary account here, because as I've said, if you watch the banking video, it is imperative you have at least 2 bank accounts from back home if you're coming over here to stay long term or live. You will not necessarily be able to get a bank account here, and you don't necessarily maybe want one here. I mean, yeah, you save on fees if you can dump a decent sized amount of, say, your whole pension, like say it's $1,500-$1,600 a month, you dump that into that Philippines bank account. But remember that the Philippines bank accounts are only insured to a very tiny, small amount. So if there's a bank failure and you're foolish enough to have dumped millions of pesos into that bank, or robbery, or any of the other things that they don't declare out or insure against, you're going to lose that money. So there is something to be said for the way we do banks in Canada, where the banks are almost 100% insured and you're safe to keep large sums of money in them. The only reason why I would now caution you against keeping large sums of money in North American banks is the new banking regulations that they're passing and are trying to pass, which means that the banks have to report when you spend more than, $2,000 a week, or if you take withdrawals of $500 or more out. Like, just ridiculous rules. All part of that digital ID / carbon footprint tracking kind of crap, right? So they say it's to safeguard things. And yeah, here's the thing. If they want to make it where to send an international remittance, especially to a new person, takes a week while they verify that person's legitimacy, okay, fine. That will save a lot of old timers who are slightly senile and thinking with their little head from getting rooked by these love scams, right? But if I'm in Canada and I want to pull $2,000 out of my account to go buy fish, I don't want to have to wait 2 days for that and have to explain this and explain that. And so now they say the way around that is to have a business account. And normally I have business accounts for all the fish markets, individual accounts per location even, just because it makes things easier for my accountant when I had one. But I don't have any businesses there anymore. There's no point. Hey, there's nothing in there. Oh, it's a different cat. See, they're all just going to check out. We sleep under this yellow van on the street. Why is it in there for the first time? Okay, so appreciate all the good feedback. Like I said, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. I'd really like to see myself up to 500 by the end of the year. I did lose some this week. I'm not sure why. I assume they're runoffs from like someone like Sad Grandpa or something. Maybe he's done a new video and I should search or whatever. And he probably maybe told people, don't follow him. Who knows? I don't care. I'm not losing any sleep over it. It's just something that I noticed. Because when you have such a few followers, you notice when 1 or 2 disappear. Some of the bigger channels that are, of course, allies and friends of mine there, they have, 60, 70,000 followers. They don't notice when 2 or 3 guys leave, but I do. And everyone is as important to me because, like I said, especially those original first 500s. So, I mean, I'll definitely have to maybe start doing some sort of, I don't know, give back or special videoing or maybe even live meets or whatever, or live shows with questions and stuff, once I get to the 500 viewers, if that's any motivation. And one of the things I definitely will be doing is the separate private channel segment, and I won't charge much, $1 a month or something. It'll be just more to keep it so that haters aren't blogging and spamming, because I would like to put things on there like, say, the sermons or whatever. And if you didn't watch today's sermon and you are a sermon watcher, it was actually a good topic for once. So, oh, here's my neighbors. They're going to be blocking my view. So, like, follow, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. That's that like, and hit a bell to hear when new videos are coming out. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate all your support. Have yourself a good night. And if you're a local, stay safe from this thing. Stock up on some stuff. Charge those battery banks. Try to make sure that you are one of the people who gets to survive all this craziness in reasonable comfort. Thanks, everyone. Have yourself a great night.